Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Ireland chapter of PMI series of webinars. I will hand over to Santosh, who's joining me this evening to host. Hi, Santosh.
Thanks, Katrina. Good evening, all, and warm welcome to the today's webinar, brought to you by PMI Ireland chapter. My name is Santosh Joshi, and I'll be your host today. You have decided to invest 1 hour of your time today evening to explore career growth options. You will be glad to know that the today's presenter has an extensive experience, knowledge, and the qualification to guide us all on the career growth options. Today's speaker is a CEO of vCare Project Management. He is a former board of director, certification director, and company secretary with the PMI Sydney chapter. He is an accomplished management professional with over 27 years of experience in IT, telecom, government, banking, and insurance industries. He has contributed to the success of 348 program management professionals and 73 portfolio management professionals across 48 countries. And that is an impressive outcome. He has delivered more than 100 training programs across the globe. He also authored the books on program management and the portfolio management. This accomplished individual is none other than Mr. Dharam Singh. Dharam,
Thank you.
we are glad to have you today evening. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Santosh, for introduction. It's a great introduction. Always feel proud. Yeah, when you start talking with the numbers, I could feel good about it. And thank you, Katrina, for bringing me here and allowing me to express my learning and experience and share with the chapter members. So it is a privilege to be here and to share my knowledge and experience. So
We're delighted to have you.
yeah, thank you, and thanks to the PMI Ireland chapter. You guys are doing great. I'm one of the subscriber of your YouTube channel. So I'm watching lots of good webinars you have been done in past. So great job. Keep it up. I think not many chapters are doing that way.
Thank you very much.
Well
And
done.
thanks, Santosh, for introducing Dharam. We'll let you take over now, Dharam.
Thank you very much, all of you, whoever are joining today or watching live or whatever. I think in 1 hour time, you're going to learn something new and you will find out how you're going to take your career where you are to the next level. So I think you are allowed to ask questions. So please feel free to ask questions and Katrina or Santosh will bring the question to me. If it's the right time, of course, I will take the call, the question, or we can take the question at the end, whatever best. I mean, Katrina can decide on that. So
We'll keep an eye in the chat for the questions. And I got sent a few questions as well today by people who couldn't join us live. So we'll be sure to keep you on your toes with some questions.
Yeah. So let me share my screen.
Okay, guys. So while we're waiting to share the screen there, you can all get involved in the comments. If you drop a question into the comments, I can keep an eye on it. Or if you've any questions for Dharam, let me know. I'll keep an eye on the chat and I'll let Dharam know. Thanks, Dharam.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. So the topic here is how can I climb up on the ladder? So you are a project manager, you're a portfolio manager, you're a program manager. What else you can do to take your journey to the next level or move into the strategic roles? So of course, having PMP is a great thing, but can you do some other certification which can help you to get to the next level? Yeah, people come to me, Dharam, should I do MBA or should I do masters or PhD? I mean, you can do all this, and trust me, these things cost a lot of money and a lot of time. Of course, they have their own benefits. But PGMP and PFMP, the certificate we're going to talk today, these are, yes, not easy to achieve, but having a right mentor, right guide can take you there. Can be achieved. I have seen people achieving the PGMP and PFMP certifications in the 1, 2, or 3 months as well. The best I've seen, 1 month, this person did the application and got the certificate, and then he moved into the next level. I will talk about some of the people who actually got the result after getting this certificate. So let's get started. So a lot to talk here. I have lots of slides, but I will try to keep it as short as possible. So we're going to talk about some why these certificates are important, what value you're going to generate having any of the PMI certificates, especially the senior, higher level certificates. And I will talk about the problem we are going through and what is stopping us to take us to the next step, and the solution, and the advanced certificate, and information about what is PGMP, PFMP, and what you're going to do to make it happen for you. Okay, as Santosh has given very good introduction about me, and it was enough. I don't want to repeat what Santosh has already said. So I'm very proud to see the 348. I'm talking here on the screen. 347 PGMPs as of yesterday, day before yesterday. But yesterday I got one more PGMP from Panama City, Panama. That has increased my number to 348, and country is now 48. So I love my numbers. First of all, I tell my student, guys, you're going to pay me to achieve my goals. Not really. And of course, they come and join my program to get the benefit and get the certificate. And that helps me to keep motivating or helping more and more people. And with PFMP, I have now 73 PFMPs. And the best part is all 73 has passed the exam in the first attempt with above target result. So I'm very, very happy with these numbers, and why not? So I like to see more and more people get these certificates faster and gain the learning. By the way, I'm not here to talk about just to get another certificate. It is about what learning you're going to get from these certificates. PMI has a lot to offer. PMI has great literature available in the form of PMBOK. Now PMBOK is 7th edition, and standard project management, program management, portfolio management, and many of them. So as a member of PMI, I think one thing you should do, you should download as many books, as many research papers as you can, all free to you. So please take the advantage of that. All right, one thing Santosh has not mentioned, which I feel proud of, I started I have been into yoga for a long time, and I started my yoga program when I was in Sydney, Australia. I call that program Yippee Yoga. It's not hippie, it's a yippee yoga in park for extreme energy. So we were doing yoga in the park, beautiful morning, Saturday morning. So that's why the name came. And by the time we finished the yoga, everybody was happy and extremely in a different zone. After coming to US and we saw the COVID, I couldn't start my yoga in San Francisco, which current place. So I started a virtual yoga class. So if anybody is interested to learn from me yoga, I will be more than happy to share the link, and it's free of charge. Anybody can join from anywhere. Okay. All right. That was the free marketing for my yoga part. So why project management professional? Why having this certificate will add more weightage to your profile. Probably you've seen when you apply for a job and you have a PMP, you have a better chance to get a call back rather than not having any certificate. And actually, that is my personal experience when I was going through a job, and I got the job with Telstra in Australia. And this recruiter, it's a big company, but this was the first client, first opportunity for them to get into with this company. She was very excited. So, Dharam, can we have a coffee before you start? I was excited as well. Then I started asking, hey, why did you, actually he said, Dharam, you're very lucky, you got the job. I was thinking, okay, this is another job for me. But he said, because there were 130 applications for this. Okay, the reason I said, and out of 130, you are the one who was selected. Then I asked him, hey, tell me more about it. Why you pick me for this role? because, of course, he has not picked me, but he has presented me as one of the 5 candidates. And not only they were representing, but there were other 3 or 4 agencies were doing that. Then he was talking about the journey, how important these certificates are. So he said, yes, one of the things we did, we removed all the international, interstate, and some junior project managers. So that has helped us to reduce 50%. Then we then we run a filter, I think they have scan or something to pick the application with PMP. So many of them also gone out. Now they start looking other things. Okay, hey, this guy has other certificates as well. PGMP, I didn't have PFM at that time, but PGMP, PBA, RMP, and few other. So, and then they start researching more about the profile. They do look into the LinkedIn profile. Guys, if you don't have LinkedIn, or if you don't have the good LinkedIn profile, please make sure your LinkedIn profile is very attractive. Good photo, professional photo, and good write-up. It's like your online resume. So please make sure you spend enough time to make your LinkedIn profile attractive enough, not in terms of photos, but it has enough information for any hiring manager can see that, yes, you have the right potential. And make sure your LinkedIn profile and your resume, it actually matching. You should not be saying, hey, you are a business analyst, and here you're saying program manager, or other way around. That can conflict. So and the chance of getting selected and getting more salary is much higher with having a right certificate. Okay, so that's what it is. So why PMI certification? There are many other certifications available. You can say, from Excelos and AIPM and many other certificates available, even Scrum Master and Safe Training, and all of them, they have their own importance. But PMI, especially some of the certificate, will give you extra credibility. I mean, credibility because PMI, as you know, is more than, I think, 52 years now. And PMI has built lots of standards and gained the knowledge in the best practices. And they have been sharing and doing research. And they have built a brand. So if you go with the certificate to any country with the PMI certificate, you have a good chance that they know about certificate. At least they know PMP. They are now coming to know about PGMP, PFMP, and other certificates. And the good thing is it's a transferable. It will improve your transferability. If you go from Australia to US, like I did, I can still move to any of the companies here. Or if I go to India, if I go to Chile, if I go to Ireland, my certification will be recognized most of the places. And because most of the organizations are maturing themselves to PMI standard, so adopting myself or getting into those organizations will be much higher for me. And so I don't have to worry about learning about project program management their way, but now I can focus on doing my job better. Of course, competitive advantage. You will be seen, higher, better than others. I'm not saying the better word is right, but more marketable. And increasing salary, chance of getting more salary is much higher. So yesterday I was talking to one of the hiring manager. He happened to be my PGMP, PFMP student. Now he's sharing that, Dharam, if we see a candidate, he or she has a higher certificate, and I go to my manager, he can approve immediately 10, 15% or 20% higher salary than we were offering to the non-certificate holder. So this is come directly from the hiring manager. So these are some of the secrets. So always, if you are you have the right certificate, your right experience, you can negotiate. Okay, we can talk about that later. Okay, so yeah, so many advantages. Commitment to show that you are committed to learn and you're getting the benefit, learning, always learning. Yeah. So now the problem is you are certified PMP, or you are a senior professional in your organization and your domain, you know everything, but you don't know how to climb to the top of the organization. And how can you move up to the hierarchy? And how can you help? What can help you to take the next career move? It's very simple. And also, and many of you want to be PMO leader. You are also interested, you are already program manager, want to handle multiple large larger size programs. You want to get into the portfolio management role, or you already in the portfolio management role, which help organization to achieve the strategic objectives, or you want to be executive who's actually implementing those strategies. So simple answer, get yourself certified. And of course, not only certification PMP, but what are the certification, advanced certifications such as PGMP, Program Manager Professional, and PFMP, Portfolio Manager Professional. So as a professional, you would establish yourself in a career, and this will help you to climb further. And who want to increase the knowledge and improve the professional ways of working. As I mentioned earlier, don't just see the certificate for the sake of certificate. See what you will learn from these certificates, what knowledge you're going to gain from these. And who are working in the role much larger than the current assigned designation. So you may be already working as a program manager, portfolio manager, without realizing that you are. And many times people come to me, Dharam, I don't know if I'm eligible for PGMP or PFMP. I'm a project manager. It is because many organizations are not matured enough. They still come, using the term project management. If you go to construction, they are running billion-dollar work, building the metro, they're doing the massive airport. They call project manager or a project. How much the budget is? $20 billion. And there are other, are you a program manager? You are actually more than program manager, not just a project manager. So you need to see the role you're performing, not just go for the designation. Who want to prove the points to the professionals in their space. Because yes, having, working of 20 years in the same industry, but having the certificate justifying, okay, this person is not only experienced, but also certified. Think about, if you are hiring a accountant, yes, they may be working 20 years, but if they don't have any credentials, certificate, probably it's less likely you're going to select that person. But if a person who has all the required certificates and, they also having experience, I'm just not saying having certificate, experience plus certificate will make you stand out. Right? Who want to communicate their value to organization and into the job market. People see that actually. When I was in Australia, I got my PGMP in 2010. And PGMP was started in 2007. Nobody, even PMI people, have any idea about PGMP in those days. From 2010, actually from 2009, when I passed my exam, till I was doing my job, I think 2016, when I was into the job market or in the professional life, I changed 4 jobs. None of the job was asking for PGMP, but all the job interview end up talking about PGMP. The moment they see, hey, Dharam Singh, PMP, we all know about PMP. What is PGMP all about? The moment this question is asked, I know this job is for me. Because I have the knowledge and understanding, they are very new to this. So there was no requirement for PGMP, but because of my having a PGMP, created that question. And that's ended up giving me the job. Actually, one job was the one I was talking about earlier. That was senior project manager in the agile space. And I have no idea about agile at the time. And of course, I heard my wife was working in agile. But because of the credential, actually one of the managers out of 2 people, he was preparing for PGMP. So once he asked the question, I know the job is for me. Anyway, so what does it give? Then currently you call experienced project manager, senior project manager, program manager, but this will help you to become unique in your organization. You're an expert, SME. People come and ask you, because now you see certified program manager professional or portfolio manager professional. People see you that you have knowledge and experience. And this also helps you to change your level. Now you're getting into the organization hierarchy. Your view is changing from doing the work which you have been doing as a project manager to getting the right work done. So you're moving yourself from tactical role to the strategic roles. And it will open the doors which you don't see at the moment. And I have several examples. I'll talk about this guy. He's in Virginia, Washington, D.C. He works for Microsoft. His previous role was, I think, program manager. Before he started, he did the PGMP with me. And after doing PGMP and then PFMP, he has been given a role of global competency leader for Microsoft. He conducted he was my guest in 2 webinars. And he said it was not possible. I cannot imagine to have this role without PGMP or PFMP. Another person, he worked for one of the largest construction company in Qatar. He goes around the world. He was a program manager at the time, before PGMP. And now he's the managing director looking after the transportation and infrastructure for this large organization. I think this is the largest company. I didn't heard, but now I know this, WSP, one of the largest engineering firm. From program management, he moved into the managing director. And yes, he's still my student. He still called me, Dharam, thank you for getting the PGMP certificate. And there are several examples. You probably say, Dharam, these are a couple of examples. Yeah, many of them, like 348 and so many of them found their path upward. Actually, some people have changed the direction altogether. They came for PGMP, then the PGMP. This lady was working for IBM. Now she's a motivation speaker. How it happened? Yeah, that happens in my class. I'm not only talking PGMP, PFMP, but also life lessons come with that. It's all free. Yoga lesson come with that free. Anyway, so I cannot stop myself. The knowledge flows. And you stand out from the crowd. You may be, I don't know how many in Ireland. I should have done my research. I think 20 or 25 PGMP in Ireland altogether.
Yep. I can tell you that because I was just literally popping the stats into the comments there for everyone joining us today. We have, and this, you can see this on our Ireland chapter homepage for anyone that ever wants to check it out. We have 15 PGMPs and we have 6 PFMPs. So obviously we've almost 1,000 PMPs. So we're actually quite good for certification in Ireland. There's a lot of people interested in the advanced learning. So there it's quite low. It's quite low. PFMP and PGMP. We could hopefully get a little bit of energy coming from your presentation this evening.
Yeah, and that's 15 or 6 is very low compared to 1,000 or 1,000, probably 2,000, 10,000. That gives you a differentiator. Imagine you are sitting in an interview. They are interviewing 3 people. Other 2 are just PMP. The same level of experience, and you are not only PMP but also PGMP. They will see you more favorably. Yeah, I mean, I have seen that personally. So you might find the same experience. So there are lots of benefit to the professionals. Now, what is it for organizations? Why they should be investing money in you? You probably noticed that the high-performing organizations, they are using advanced project management techniques. So they are using program management, portfolio management, more than low-performing organizations. They are high-performing because they are always looking for maturity. What else in the industry best practices? And high-performing organization help they hire the right people, the program manager, portfolio manager, with the of course the experience plus certification, and that helps them to improve the success rate up to 90% and reduce the, of course, any program can have risk, but as a program manager or a portfolio manager or a project manager, you can foresee what is coming because you have some background knowledge and tools and techniques. You can see, hey, let's sit down and talk about the risk. and you can reduce the risk early enough and get the upper hand. Successful projects have met their intended goals and business objective through mature benefit realization process and mature portfolio management practices. So look, many of the project managers, they are working on the deliverables, products, services. Only few organizations talks about benefits. And how mature they are in benefit realization, probably not too much. It is the whole process. You identify the benefit, you have the steps required to achieve the benefit, you deliver the benefit, and then transition them. And ultimately, somebody has to sustain the benefit. So once you know this knowledge, when you're sitting in a steering committee meeting, that they have no idea about the benefit relation. Yes, I should have said they don't have any, but they were not expecting something from you, and then suddenly your language changed. I tell you, but this guy, he's working for in Australia. He's working for News Corp. He said, Dharam, I don't want to do any certificate. I want to learn the jargons. I want to learn the best practices. So he was in Sydney, but we are doing the virtual program anyway. So he said, we met actually for coffee after the class happened. He said, look, Dharam, one of the advantages I have is now my language has changed. When I go to steering committee, I talk in terms of benefit relation, stakeholder engagement, governance practices. So that is a big advantage. Now people see you that not only certified, but also your maturity level gone up. And we can keep talking about the number, 76% compared to 54, 56 with no certificate or less certification. And many organizations actually hire you because their chance of getting the new business is much higher. When they put the RFP responses or tender responses, they have to show how many PMPs they have, how many PGMP, PFMP they have. And that actually add more value or credibility to these organizations. So what organization getting out of this? Of course, they're investing money, 3,000, 5,000, whatever money involved in the whole process. They see the continuous learning is happening. You guys are learning. And that is improving the productivity. Yes, there's a risk once you get a PGMP, FMP, you might lose, go to another organization. So there's a loss of dollar. But if they don't make you, help you to gain more learning, they are going with the low performing team. Yes, there's a chance you may leave, but the chances are also high that you can stay in the organization and the productivity will go up. There will be a better client engagement, employee engagement. And with the stakeholder engagement and with the right attitude, right mindset, you can actually bring the cost down, cost effectiveness. And you will find happier customer, happier employees. So why PGMP, PFMP? Why I'm passionate about PGMP, PFMP. When I started my journey into teaching or starting company, there was the option I can start with PMP. Then I realized that what, almost every training company is talking about PMP. And there are only few people. There was nobody actually talking about PGMP. PFMP was new. It's just it was introduced in 2013. And I can say I was the only company, REP at the time, we got certified based on PGMP. The problem was when they were looking for the questions, when I was looking at the question in the REP application, they're all based on PMP. I have to justify why PGMP will give them upper hand. Anyway, so having PGMP or program manager professional, that gives you your better control. Remember, the program is all about multiple coordinated projects. And you can manage these projects, coordinate them in a more effective way, efficient way, and get the benefit delivered for the organization. And this program can be small or large, it doesn't matter. But generally, when we say program is, can be 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and going for a mega $1 million, $1 billion. But irrespective of the size and complexity, And you may be running a program which is 3 months only. Doesn't matter. What matters is how can you coordinate the work and get the results as fast as possible, or the best possible benefit for the customer. And what about the PFMP, Portfolio Manager Professional? Of course, we're talking about knowledge and skills and tasks and techniques, and this will help you to pick the right work for the organization, which is aligned with strategic objective of the organization, and help the organization to achieve the ROI, because there can be multiple components, multiple projects available, and you have limited resources. Now, you have to pick the best possible projects which can help you to achieve, your organization to achieve the maximum out of them. You cannot just pick like that. You need to do a lot of analysis. You look at return on investment, you look at benefit cost analysis, you look at NPV, IRR. I know these are acronyms for you, maybe you already know. So they go in the depth of each and every component, because they need to justify to their management why these 5 projects to be selected, not others. And here, while we're going through the PGMP or the PFMP learning, you're learning the techniques, tools, which help you to make you better portfolio manager. When you provide the recommendation, justification, they know what exactly they're looking for. And the selection of your component will be much higher compared to other programs or portfolios. Anyway, so let's talk about, is PGMP for you? You may be thinking, hey, Dharam, I'm okay, whatever I'm doing, but I don't know if I'm eligible for PGMP or not. So as a first thing first, doesn't matter what designation you have. You may be a project manager, you may be a PMO head, you may be CEO. Doesn't matter. It's all about the role you are playing. I got a call from a lady from Kenya. She said, Dharam, I want to do PGMP. And I'm looking her LinkedIn profile. Her title was Assistant Deputy Project Coordinator. Without asking too much, I didn't go into the detail. I asked her, hey, why do you think you are eligible for PGMP? What kind of program or project you're doing? Dharam, I'm responsible for all the infrastructure work within Nairobi, which is the capital of Kenya. Rail, roads, and airline. I said, your title? Oh, yeah, the title is very funny. So if you look at this title, Assistant Deputy Project Coordinator, you cannot think that you are eligible for PGMP or PFMP. But she was running, I think, $20 billion work, whole of the Nairobi. So don't worry about the title. And if you have any doubt, always contact me. You can contact anybody, but I have seen so many examples, so many people, professionals going through, and I will help you to understand whether the PGMP for you or not. Of course, there are eligibility criteria. I will talk about them very soon. But this will look at from different angle. And don't just see, when you talk to your manager, they may not see you as eligible because they have no idea about PGMP or PFMP. You can be a program manager, you may be running large-scale programs, a project even. As I said, role doesn't mean anything. You may be vice president. I get a lot of vice presidents or C-level people doing PGMP, PFMP. Program director or senior director. So it's nothing to do with the designation. So let's establish your eligibility first. So PMP, you know that, 3 years and so and so. I'm not going to that. But for PGMP, and again, depends on if you have a bachelor's degree or if you don't have, then there's different criteria. You can look into that. One is, bachelor, non-bachelor, doesn't matter for the project experience. You need to show 4 years of project management experience. And if you are a PMP, then you don't have to worry about it. For the program management experience, you as a bachelor's degree holder, you have to show 4 years of program management experience. Again, don't worry about title, program management experience. And if you don't have, then 84 months, which is seven years of program management experience. And you can also check whether your university, your organization, not university is part of GAC accredited program. So this is a special program which PMI introduced, I think, many years now. Many of the universities, I think 150 universities, are part of this list. If your university is one of them, then you have to show only 3 years of project management and 3 years of program management experience. So that brings down immediately 2 years of eligibility. And again, if you can do Google search. If you're in doubt, you can talk to me. And by the way, this experience can go back 15 years. One person came and said, Dharam, I don't know if I'm eligible for PMP or PGMP. I'm currently doing test manager role. So he was not eligible for project management because his experience was in testing was in last 5 or 6, 7 years. But I was able to find the eligibility in PGMP because he was running programs previously. So your experience can go, you can go back 15 years. So look back. I mean, I prefer to see the most recent experience and going backward. But if you don't have the relevant experience now, maybe 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, who knows? And program means you should have at least 2, interdependent project. If you are running one large project, it's a project. But even a small program which have 2 interdependent project, that can make your program this as a program. And don't worry about the budget. Some people come, hey, I don't manage the budget, or the size is small. This doesn't matter. It depends on interdependency or not. Any questions so far, Katrina?
Yeah, it's interesting actually. There's a bit of a chat here going on in the comments, and one is around we've very few PFMPs here in Ireland. In fact, one of the 6 is actually on with us this evening and chatting. And what we're actually talking about is, and maybe it's how to frame it in the question is really, could you give examples of roles where PFMP might be the certification to go for over PGMP? And I was sort of suggesting that maybe a PMO role or an operations role might be good. So maybe just from your experience with all the people that you've brought through the certification, was there any typical kind of a role that your PFMPs would have held?
Yeah, actually, it's a very good question. So yeah, many of the PFMP go for, of course, PMO head, and even the C-level roles. And I was talking about this guy was actually not PFMP. He's not a PFMP. He's PGMP, but he's moved from program manager role to the managing director role, and within a space of 3 years. So you can be one of the general manager position, director position, or C-level position. And because we're talking here strategy alignment, you actually putting yourself in their shoes, and said sooner or later you can be in those roles.
So, I mean, I think that's very interesting because you're I think with the call out here as well is it's like we're talking about climbing the project management career ladder, but really, I think possibly one of the opportunities here is like climbing up the company organization ladder and actually getting yourself up to C-level because the difference between the project management and the program management, as you said, is all about benefits realization. It's all about running the business. Other people are running the projects now. You're running the business. So
exactly.
I think it's maybe jumping. I always say to people that you will never, ever, ever regret doing a PMI certification. Even if you never manage another project for the rest of your life, you will use that certification. So I find this is quite interesting because really it's pointing out that actually you can even use the certification to push yourself forward and move up the ladder, and not just in project management roles. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I got call from people that I was in interview where this guy from Texas, I think Austin. So he gone up to the very senior. There were multiple interviews. For some reason, US have multiple interview system. So this guy gone up to, and now he's talking to C-level person, CEO, and he was few questions. He said, "Do you have PGMP?" No, not at the moment. So do one thing, get your PGMP and come and talk to me. So that one certificate has stopped him. He almost certain to get the job. So next day he called me, Dharam. I don't know how, and I wanted to get the PGMP done as soon as possible. So there is a requirement, and people understand the importance of these certificates now. Especially, if you look at if US, of course, everything happened. Most of things in certification level, PMI level. Yes, it's PMI. US is much ahead. But I have noticed, in Australia, when I can talk about Australia, I don't know much about Ireland, and you guys you can talk more. But it's not about whether they're asking or not. But when you're sitting in the interview, they should be able to see that yes, you have the, not on the paper resume, but they should be able to see that they are talking to a very like expert in that area, and that will come to you.
I was going to ask you another question there, Dharam, if you don't mind. Might mix it in a little bit, but I have some previous experience working in consultancy, and I noticed that consultancies, and we would have a lot of consultancy companies in Ireland as well in that area, that the certification is sort of evidence of the staff when they're pitching for a contract. Often they will come looking for your resume, and they will look for the people who have the certification to put that on and send it out. So it goes back to the point that you were making earlier on, that you want to stand out from the crowd, that you want to show that you have something different. So if they have 100 CVs in front of them, that how are they going to whittle them down? Well, then one of the ways they're going to whittle them down is to go, okay, well, who's got certification? Which we've talked about in previous webinars here, actually, in the Ireland chapter, that it is experience is always going to cap everything. No matter how many certifications you have, it will always be about your experience. But when 5 people are sitting in the room and they have more or less equal experience, certification is that cherry on top. So it's keeping yourself relevant, and we definitely see it in consultancies. They like the badges. They like to show that their team have put in the work. So yeah, I think,
and those certificates can be a win and lose game as well for these big consulting companies.
Yeah,
and they always look for the this certificate experience, of course, experience you mentioned, but also having the right certificates. Perfect. All right, now let's establish PFMP. Now we have talked about PFMP. Is PFMP for you? So of course you are into the again, I'm talking about designation doesn't matter. I get people who doing a role as a project manager and a designation project manager, but they are running the portfolios without realizing that they actually portfolio managers. So look at whether you are deciding which project or program to stop or start, and we are comparing your project program with organization strategies, vision, and objective. So you are actually helping the organization to achieve those objectives, right? So I mean, again, if you are in doubt, you should book some time. I will give you a link where you can book a free time with me. Yes, portfolio managers, experienced program managers, senior project managers with multiple projects and programs, VPs, AVPs. Of course, these people. PFMP is very, very popular with the senior managements. As I said, I get people with the C-level designations. I get PMO heads, I get program director, portfolio directors, kind of people doing the PFMP, and also project managers as well. Believe it or not.
And I think, Dharam, we're seeing a lot more lately roles that are specifically business change manager or head of strategy. That portfolio management experience go a long way in those type of roles that are becoming much more common now.
Yeah, very right. I mean, again, the PFMP and PGMP, similar experience. Only difference you will find, here we not just focus on project management experience. We're talking business experience, which is professional business experience. So what that means is any work you've done as a project manager, program manager, even BA, or that as long as you have 8-year experience, that justify your 8 years. Okay, so that's easy. And of course, you need to show 4 years of portfolio manager experience. Again, don't go with the title. Portfolio management experience for bachelors, and non-bachelors, of course, you need to show 7 years, which is a little bit higher. And GSE, that gives you extra 1 year advantage. So if you have your university is one of the GSE accredited list, then you can save 1 year. I mean, the same means if you have less experience, you can also go for PFMP. Yes, you can also, 15 years, last 15 years. You don't have to be now, maybe last 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you can go back to that. All right. Value of PGMP, PFMP, I think we don't have to spend too much time on this, because we know that this is the elite group. Very less people around the world, as you mentioned, 15 and 6. And those people, when they apply for the jobs, even the jobs not asking for PGMP, they get more preference than other people, believe it or not. And it's coming from my own experience. It's not easy. I can tell you these certificates are not easy. Nobody talks, but unofficially, the passing rate for PGMP is very low. I think around 40s or something first time. One of the problem is PMI has not mandated the training requirement for these certificates, which is not a good thing. While they have a mandate for PMP, ACP, RMP, all the certificate, but these certificates where you need more handholding compared to other certificate, they have not mandated the training. And that's where people say, hey, the book is around 100-page, 150-page book. I can read it and do some question bank. I can be fine. Bang. Oh, I didn't expect this kind of question. So anyway, so that's where the problem is, and that means less people and it's not crowded place for you. Less
and
people.
Dharam, I guess that's where the training comes in then as well, because a few of us, I know Santosh and myself and a few people chatting in the comments have PGMP. I think we'll all agree with what you just said there. It isn't about learning the book off by heart and just answering the questions. It is relying on you actually having program experience. So for me, like getting the training and getting that support was like there's no way I would have passed that exam without having taken a course alongside it.
Yeah. And many times people, after trying once or twice by themselves, they say, hey, Dharam, I should have talked. I know I talked to you, but I should have taken your program that time. Because every time you do the exam, it's a cost, $600. Sometimes money is not a big thing. More important, the time investment into this. Because sometimes you continue with the 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. And if you call them, hey, what's going on? Oh, Dharam, I'm still committed. I will do the exam one day, someday. But I don't have money and time to invest. There you go.
But I think it goes back to you had a comment in one of your earlier slides, what's in it for the organization. And I think that's a key, because it is expensive and it's a lot of time. And I think you're going to have to commit the time. No one can commit the time for you. But for example, I was able to present a case to my manager and get my manager to fund my training course to go ahead and take the certification. So if you can show what's in it for the organization, maybe you can take the sting of how much it's going to cost. But it'll definitely pay dividends. So I would always recommend that you sit down, you look at what's in it for the organization. Why would my boss fund or even part fund this, and even give you the days off to do a little bit of study from home? And all these things matter. If you can build that case, and I know a lot of people for whom that's been very successful, that they've gotten at least part of it funded, or at least have gotten some study days, given to them. So because it's all money, and then it's down to you to do the study, I guess. So.
And that's where the business case part come into picture. So you're selling the idea to your management why this certificate will help them to get your certificate, and they should be funding your $2,000, $3,000, $500,000 to be certified and give you time, and of course a business case, good justification.
I think you can maybe see that on the screen there, Taiwo. I did say I'd put your comment up on the screen, but just for, Taiwo has 7 of the PMI certifications, and he says he's been considered for a higher role because of his recent achievements with PGMP and PFMP. And he's actually, as it happens, a big fan of yours as well, Dharam. So I told Taiwo I'd show his comment on the screen. But it definitely pays dividends. So but that's also, I'm sorry, I had to put that up because 7 certifications. I've had 2, and it's taken me 15 years to get 2, and I'm exhausted. So 7, amazing.
Yeah. It takes time and commitment, of course, but you see the value. And as Javu mentioned, he's considered for the many senior position. And actually, people get headhunted. People are watching on LinkedIn. They say, "Hey, this person is PGMP." Actually, I'll tell you, this lady from Toronto, she did my program with me, and we got PGMP this year in January. And I was about to, talking to her about the next day webinar. Just like I'm here, she was my guest. So Dharam, I will not announce in the webinar because I've not told my manager so far. But I want to tell you that I got headhunted by another bank, and they have offered me 100% more salary than what I was getting. So, and I didn't ask that how much he's getting. I said, "Are you into 200?" Oh, she laughed. Of course. So that was the ROI she got. Almost immediately got January, she got the certified. And I think I was talking to her in March. Within 2-3 months, she got the.
Yeah.
And I said, okay,
Probably
Dharam,
what you say though as well. I mean, I hope there's some people's bosses aren't on the webinar with us as well. But I think maybe there's a valid point around that regards to writing down your justification, and probably one of your justifications should be, okay, well, what am I going to get from it? Am I going to go for a different role? Am I going to look to work in a different organization? It is that differentiator, and I suppose it's a competitive market now, so I think it's a fair point to raise that one of the differentiators should be, well, actually, I'm looking for a salary increase out of this, so hopefully people's bosses aren't listening and getting a bit nervous, but it's always good.
And another thing is, look, even if your organization not paying your certification, think that is investment to yourself. And, after the certification, more chances of getting better salary, a better job. Think that way. Actually, when I came to New Jersey, when from Australia, I was visiting for a class, and this person said, "Dharam, I want to come and meet you." He was my PGMP student, and I'm going to bring my wife as my kid as well when they want to see you. So here we were meeting for dinner with my team. I said, "Can you come to the car park?" And this introducing his wife and his kid. They look. She is very, very happy. Look, and she was very big smile. Said, "Dharam, thank you for getting him the certificate. I have now more money to play with." So he was a consultant. He was get paid, I think, $67 per hour before the certificate. Now he was able to get now $135 per hour and still consultant, which is is more than double the salary.
Very impressive.
If it is hourly, 8 hours, you can multiply the double. Anyway, so there are lots of examples. I can keep talking about that. So, of course, numbers talks more. If you look at the PMP numbers, and everybody knows more than 1,229,031, so many. And globally, you talked about, your Ireland, PFMP less than, you can say 1,100 now, and PGMP is still under 3,500. And we don't worry about all the certificates. Yes, if you want to see the numbers, but you can see these are clearly giving you differentiator. And if you're in Ireland or European countries or where numbers are still low, you will enjoy that. Especially when you're sitting in the interview, people will ask you, why should I hire you, not the other project manager or the PMP. And as I said, I changed 4 jobs. None of them was asking for PGMP at the time, but all asked end up talking about PGMP. Yes, we have talked about my numbers. So 300, and this is actually typo 3. It should be 348 as of yesterday, and this is 11% of global numbers. So I'm very, very proud to all of these numbers, all the people who trusted me. I was able to support them to achieve their certificate. So as I said, this is not a easy exam to go through, but once you have right direction, right mentor with you, the certificate can be very, very easy. So this guy actually from Panama, yesterday, he passed exam yesterday. He has to fly from Panama to Florida because of the COVID lockdown situation. And he said, Dharam, he passed the exam, of course, with above target, with 4 above target and 1 target. And if people know what I'm talking, And he said, I was able to complete the exam in 3 hours. And this, we are talking PGMP. This is one of the toughest exams. So I put my student in such a structure, so that when they go to the exam, they feel that they are over prepared. I like to see people over prepared and get the result what they're looking for. So if that means I will ask you to do some of the toughest question. I will challenge you and make sure you have all what you need to pass exam. So something PFMP, as I said, 100% pass with our target. So I cannot, this may be self-boasting, but I'm proud of each of these PFMPs. My personal target is to see 100 out of 100 passing in first attempt and getting our target result. Now the time will tell. I think it will be up to March or April when I see 100 PFMPs. I mean, you guys can help me with achieving my numbers. Please help me. So what is stopping you? Many people get stopped. Hey, I know everything. What else I will learn? But please, this is a continuous learning. The day you stop learning, you're kind of dead. You have to keep learning. You learn from the bachelor's degree, you got MBA, you got PMP. Why not other things? Learning will help you to do your job better. Some people say, hey, this is a waste of time. I rather learn from the job. It's not like that. Maybe you are already program manager, but people don't see you program manager because you don't have certificate, right? Required certificate. So it will help you to validate. This is the common one. I'm very busy. I got a lot of work to do. I cannot find any time. So what that means, you will continue to do hard work. What this certificate will give you, how to manage your work more effectively, how to delegate the right work to right people, so that you have quality work coming out of you. Your team is happy as well. And yes, it's just a piece of paper. Of course, this is another certificate, piece of paper. Maybe some people feel proud of putting that on LinkedIn. They may get some likes and comments. It's not about that. It's about, people recognize you that you are a certified program management or portfolio manager professional. And they see the value in you. And they hire you. And they give you a higher salary as well. But please don't come to me, Dharam, you mentioned in the webinar that you will get hired and you get higher salary. It's not that automatically happen. You need to put some efforts as well. You need to demonstrate that why they should be hiring you, via your LinkedIn profile, via your resume, by writing some blogs, maybe sharing some blogs. So how can you achieve your goal? Of course, as I've been mentioning, you need to have a right person with you, right trainer, or you may find somebody in Ireland, or maybe whoever. First of all, this person should be knowledgeable and expert in the area, and have done training and mentoring many times, or have people have actually understood the value from this person. Offer constructive criticism and biased opinion. I've seen people say, hey, you're doing great. They don't feel comfortable in criticizing. In my class, when you are sitting in my virtual, in the mentoring program, if I feel that your thought process is still not aligned with PMI, I tell you there. And it's very important to know your weak areas along with your good, strong areas as well. And clear focus on your career path. It's not about you're taking money and that's it. It's about helping you to achieve your goals. Of course, motivation to push your boundaries, trusted advisor, and target fresh perspective and provide valuable networks. Anyway, so you need to see, first of all, when you talk to the trainer or mentor, find if you have a frequency match. The trainer can be the best in the world, but if the frequency is not matching, the other person cannot understand or cannot talk to you in your language, in your understanding, then it doesn't matter. So look for the right person. So think about, do you have right mentor with you? While self-study can be useful, but some of these certificates like PGMP, PFMP need more than self-study, I can tell you. Preferably pick somebody who's already PGMP and PFMP and also ATP. Having authorized training partner with PMI actually give the credibility. PMI is not going to give ATP to anyone. They have their own, structured way of identifying the right person as the instructor and the ATP. So you please look for the right. And I've seen people are teaching PGMP or PFMP even though they don't have any certificate. Yes, they are good PMP trainers, but may not be PGMP, PFMP because they themselves have not gone to the path.
Yeah, and Dharam, actually, this is a really good point. And one of the things that's kind of happened to us because of the lockdown, we obviously went to webinar format. And in doing that, we actually opened ourselves up to an international audience. In fact, we even opened ourselves to an audience outside of Dublin, really, the capital. And I think the ATP is doing something similar for people who can look internationally now for a trainer. We've got some fantastic ATPs in Ireland, and they're really, really amazing. But not everyone who's on this webinar even is in Ireland now. So it's really great that, there's people on this webinar who are looking at the Irish ATPs and they're going, oh, they're great, that really suits me. And I think it really kind of hits what you're saying there. It's that if you resonate with somebody, they're going to be able now to reach out to you and have the confidence, because the ATP, you have the ATP symbol basically, that they know, okay, well, someone has vetted this guy. So I'm going to chat to him. I'm going to look at his credentials and I'm going to go with this guy. So whereas before you probably would have maybe moved country and gone, I have no idea who to talk to or who to go to. So like it's definitely very useful. I know it's probably been a lot more work for you to get it, and because it's a bit of an undertaking, I think. But I did just want to comment that the ATP really gives us a little bit of safety, essentially.
Exactly. And PMI do take this very seriously. And the reason PMI moved from REP model to ATP because they have more control on the way the ATPs are helping because you guys are their stakeholders. So they want to make sure that you are in the good hands. And one thing important, please don't just look at the price tag. I know my price is higher, but look for the person who can actually help you there, take you there. Sometimes people take, hey, Dharam, he's charging $1,000 or $1,500, and yours is, what is the comparison? Look, first thing first, talk to the person and don't just compare. Everybody can do the same, deliver the same, but is this the right person? You need to discuss this. Maybe talk to the 5 or 6, whatever numbers available. And don't just read the testimonials. Yeah, there are, everybody can write or gets 5-star rating. But talk to the people who are giving those ratings. Do you find this person as really worth working with? I challenge, I have 150 or 60 testimonial. You go to and talk to any of them and talk, hey, Dharam, I'm thinking of talking to Dharam about PGMP. You can talk to anyone. I don't want to give you a name. So anyway, so that's something you can do that. Check the lesson learned. And I do have a YouTube channel, and I invite all the professionals, who done the PGMP, PFMP, and I interview them. 2 days ago, I was talking to this guy from Dubai. He's in healthcare and he's done a lot of digital transformation. So look at those things. And also I have a podcast series. Actually, in our time, I'm talking to this guy from Germany, and he's ex-president of AIPM, Reinhard, if you probably know, some of you probably know him. So I'm talking to the professionals or executives or leaders to bring the knowledge. So learn from these freely available information. Like this one is a very good way of what you guys are doing. Free information to not only people from Ireland, but around the world is getting benefit from this. Right. All right. How can?
Very good.
I know the time is over. Let me take it.
Well, you've kept your audience with you. I was just saying, so you're doing well. But you've got a big team. There's a big team of you there.
This is not my team. Actually, this is a class in Chicago.
Is it? Okay, very good.
This is a Chicago class when I was working with them. And so we have several type of program, whether you look for 2 days program, 3 days boot camp, 5 days boot camp. Virtual currently is virtual. If there's a company is sponsoring, we can come to take a flight. And as an Australian citizen, actually I can fly to any country, almost all the countries. It's a weekend program or customized schedule. But due to the COVID situation, my online programs are more popular, obviously, whether group program or personal mentor program. I do have recorded programs and some other format, some other customized programs you can look into. But anyway, so you can see that. Yeah, so I have visited Oman, and this is, I think, New Zealand. This is Canada, Toronto. I go around the world, Oman again. So in the mentoring program, we not only talk about that, what you have learned, the training, whatever basic material you have to go through, but sharing the knowledge, relevant knowledge with the topic is important, so that people can connect with that. So in my class, I'm sure you're not going to feel bored and end up more laughing. And sometimes people say, Dharam, I don't think we should be paying money for any comedy show. You are, you can keep us laughing for last 3 days. That's the important thing. And that means engaging. I think that's what you mentioned, Katrina, that everybody's engaged and people are listening. So that's what you find in the classes. So boot camps, whether it's Telstra in this is actually Melbourne. This is in Bangalore. I can keep going. This is actually a big team of Telstra in Australia. 17 people. Anyway, and yes, my mentoring program, online mentoring program, you can see all kind of people from anywhere in the world. This was actually a long time back, but now so many people, and many of them I actually don't remember the name of them. So sorry.
It's a lot of people.
I know. I mean, this is a one batch kind of thing. So what you can do, you set your goals, find the right people, whether you go to LinkedIn or your chapter meetings, and find the people who you can connect, learn from them. And I'm one of the person who can, you can connect with me. I'm happy to discuss with you. And look for the career, where you want to take yourself. What is the current and 2 years time, 3 years time, 5 years time, 10 years time, and maybe set some unrealistic goals. If I go back, 10 years, 11 years, I never thought I'm going to be talking in any forum. I was the person who was sitting in a room. I can run the project very well. But if you ask me to speak in front of 5 people of my team member, I was the last person to hey. So, but coming out of that to doing what I'm doing now is, I cannot believe. I mean, if I go back that time. But sometimes you have to put yourself looking beyond what you can think now. They say sky's the limit. I mean, when we say, people say sky's the limit, actually sky's the limit. You can think anything and you can be like that. Look for the growth, where you want to, again, the part of the career path. People look from the wealth point of view, how much money I'm generating now, and how much money do I need after 2 years with my kids and family, buying a house. So you build the time, Of course, you can reach out to me, and I think Katrina and Santosh can give you my contact detail. So if you want to book any time with me, free time, 15-minute time. Generally, people book for 15 minutes, end up having half an hour, 45 minutes. So if you book the time, anything you want to discuss, whether career or any certification, and sometimes people come, hey, Dharam, just can you help me with getting a job? Look, yeah, time booked, so that doesn't mean, I just talk. If I can help you with anything, please. My phone number is on the WhatsApp as well. You can message me, and my email address, Dharam at vCare Project Management. So there are many ways you can connect with me. So Katrina, do you have any question for me? Anything else?
Yeah, so we might start to wrap up there, guys. Normally, Dharam, I will follow up with you afterwards, because we'll make sure that we get those contacts out to the group as well, so that if anyone does want to connect with you, like I said, we do actually have an international audience as well. So I think we covered most of the questions earlier on. So I'm just having a bit of a scan through here. I just want to, it's funny, I just want to point out something here. If you don't, rather than a question, I'll have a comment. But this is from Taiwo, and this is an example of project management professionalism, because he basically used the pandemic to sit and study for his certification. So I think hats off. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
And we also have Brian here chatting to us in the background, who has his PFMP and didn't realize that he was among such a small cohort of people. I mean, it's only 6 in Ireland, but internationally that it's such a small group of people. So like a lot of comments, people are kind of, this is not the first webinar where we've run talking to people about their career, and we did a webinar last year focused on program management and you know how you might maybe be eligible for that. So normally what happens is we get quite a few follow-ups afterwards, so I might pass those on to you in email.
Please.
But we great interaction today in the comments. Lots of people, hopefully we're energizing people to think about it, particularly with PMBOK 7. I know that's PMP, but with that coming out, we've a lot of the webinars at the moment that are focused on continuous learning and moving forward. So hopefully people have taken on board some of your comments there about what's in it for you and what's in it for your organization, and that you know maybe put it on your list of New Year's resolutions coming up for next year, essentially.
Exactly.
So, Santosh, I might start to get you maybe to share your screen there. I'll add your screen in again we'll close out for everybody. So I will hand back over to Santosh now. So Dharam, thank you so much. It was just lovely interacting with you there.
It was great talking with you guys, especially the comments or feedback I was getting from the people watching. It's fantastic to see some of the positive comments from especially Teo, his journey, and it's very inspiring. And guys, while we are still in the pandemic one way or other, we are coming out of that. So get yourself vaccinated. One thing, if you're not done so far, and I'm passing another message: vaccinated, and also take the time to learn and grow yourself. Because while you're working from home, you may have extra time which you can invest in yourself. So take the opportunity and learn and get some, and that will make you redundancy proof. If there's any possibility of redundancies. And actually not redundancy proof, but it will help you to get the upper edge within organization or outside organization. Yeah. I've seen that happening. So please take it.
Yep. Thank you. Santosh.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Dharam, for this interesting session. And it's also a valuable session for all of us to pursue and to get a benefit from these trainings on the careers. And Katrina, thanks a lot for facilitating the questions. Thanks you all who attended this session, and we are coming to the end of the session now. I'm sure you picked up a lot of good tips from the session, and that will take you a long way in your career too. Before we close, just a reminder, all those who have registered with their PMI IDs will get the credit for the PDOs to your account. And all those who could not register with your PMI ID, you can still claim the PDO with the claim code shown on the screen. I hope you enjoyed the evening, and I wish you all the best. Have a wonderful evening now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Santosh. Thank you, Dharam. Good evening. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
All the best. Bye.
Bye.